Meanwhile, the assaults and threat environment that our ICE and Border Patrol agents are facing is unprecedented. And we have the latest incident coming now, we learned yesterday, out of Buffalo, New York, upstate New York. A man has been arrested and charged with threatening to kill ICE agents. The name is James White. He's 43 years old. And what he was Matthew White, was putting just unbelievable threats on X. We can show them to you here. You see just 3 examples. April 18th, kill them all. ICE is the new age Gestapo. Stop them. April 29, then understand that if your ICE agents don't show proof of identity and a signed warrant, we will kill them. That, by the way, was a threat responding to a video of Tom Homan. And then also in April, this one, I can't wait to put a bullet into this guy's brain. But first, his children.
You know, there's no excuse for any of this, and that guy belongs in jail. But, you know, it is sort of it's an illogical progression, but it is a progression from when you have all of these politicians saying, minus the threats of violence, but saying everything else about ICE agents and the Trump administration, but specifically ICE agents who are sent out, you know, in terms of calling them the Gestapo, calling them Nazis, calling them terrorists. The idea that you are sending these ICE agents out to enforce the law that politicians put on the books. And you can't be surprised that you wind up with a wacko who takes it a step further and starts calling for violence.
Yeah, and even though we're seeing the increase in attacks and the calls for violence, this is where Democrats are focusing their energy on calling to unmask these ICE agents. Listen to this.
The bill is actually pretty straightforward. You know, no face coverings, no mask, whether you're a citizen, a legal resident, or an undocumented immigrant, and somebody without these identifiers is approaching you, masked up, coming out of a marked car. You have no idea what's going on.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people, every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified.
If everything is legitimate and proper, why are you wearing masks?
Folks getting snatched off the street by secret police who are wearing masks.
I'm going to introduce legislation that essentially says no more masked federal agents in our community. Only the bad guys wear masks.
So you want to know who's focusing their energy on that, the Visible Act. These are just some of the Senate co-sponsors, including Cory Booker, Alex Padilla, Richard Blumenthal, and others. And the condemnation of the violence and the attacks would be appreciated for all who are seeing this. But again, this is where they're choosing to focus their time and energy.
It's just unfathomable as you see these ICE agents, you know, every single day. You have ICE, DHS, CBP, Border Patrol putting out incidences of child rapists, people who have been convicted of homicide, people that have assaulted others. These are the criminals, the more than 500, 600,000 illegal criminal aliens in this country that the American people voted to not only shut down the border, but remove them from the country. All these agents are doing are carrying out federal immigration law, and it is the acquiescence of lawmakers in Washington that are giving a green light. Whether you see it directly or not, it seems it's pretty direct when you have Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of House Democrats, calling ICE agents Gestapo, saying we want you to resist this for a political end, not for the safety of communities from coast to coast.
And I think it's kind of interesting that they've come up with this idea of a mask ban for federal agents. Where was this idea of a mask ban when we had all of the riots and all of the mayhem caused in, among private citizens? Their homes were burned, their businesses were burned, people, the violence on the streets by masked marauders. Of course, they never mentioned the idea of face mask bans for that. But then as soon as you start trying to bring order to the streets and, as you point out, Griff, enforce the laws that are on the books as voters asked them to do in the last election, then they suddenly want to ban masks for ICE agents.
Yeah, and there's a real problem with morale right now as they're trying to carry out their job. Griff, you know this. We talk to officials all the time who say it's tough for them to show up and go to do their job every day. These ICE agents, they leave their families, they leave their spouses, they leave their homes to go do their jobs with this risk of attack every day, and knowing that there are lawmakers okay with the calls for violence against them.
Well, why aren't they calling for these protesters that in many instances we saw a guy with a skateboard smashing ICE facility windows? Have they been arrested? Have they been prosecuted? Are they being held to account? I mean, free speech is a cornerstone of our democracy. But when you're violently attacking federal law enforcement officers, that ain't free speech.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.